Financial fitness, it's a term we hear thrown around a lot. But what if I told you that most people are doing it all wrong? Today we're diving into the surprising daily habit that could transform your financial life.
Oh, now you've got me intrigued. What's this game-changing habit you're talking about?
Well, it's deceptively simple. Checking your bank balance every single day. Now, I know what you're thinking. Every day? Really? But hear me out. This daily check-in is about more than just looking at numbers. It's about understanding your money flow and building a relationship with your finances.
A relationship with your finances. That's an interesting way to put it. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure thing. Think of it like this. Just as you nurture any important relationship in your life, your relationship with money needs daily attention. By checking your account every day, you're essentially having a daily conversation with your finances. You're staying alert to what's really happening, rather than just assuming everything's fine because it's on your bank app.
I see what you mean. But in this age of automation and AI, isn't there an easier way to keep track of our finances? It seems like there should be an app for that.
You'd think so, right? But here's the thing. There's something powerful about doing this manually. It keeps you engaged and mindful of your spending in a way that automated systems just can't replicate. Plus, mistakes can happen even with the most sophisticated technology. By checking yourself, you're adding an extra layer of security.
That makes sense. So we start with daily checks. What's the next step in building this financial fitness?
Great question. Once you've established the daily habit, the next step is to do a more comprehensive review at the end of each month. Think of it as a monthly checkup for your financial health. You're reviewing all your transactions, assessing your overall financial well-being, and setting yourself up for success in the coming month.
Sounds like a solid plan. What are some specific things people should look for during this monthly review?
Well, first and foremost, you want to review all your transactions. This helps you spot any unnecessary expenses or surprise charges. It's also a good time to make sure any expected rebates or refunds have actually been credited to your account. You'd be surprised how often these things slip through the cracks if you're not paying attention.
Those are all great points. I can see how this level of scrutiny could really help people get a handle on their spending. But what about the bigger picture? How does this habit help with overall financial planning?
That's where the assessment of your financial health comes in. During your monthly review, you should be looking at your budget and spending trends. Are you overspending in certain categories? Are there areas where you can cut back? This regular check-in helps you adjust your habits before overspending becomes a problem. It's like course correcting before you veer too far off track.
That's a great analogy. Are there any tools or strategies you'd recommend to help people stick to their budgets?
Absolutely. One simple but effective strategy is to set up spending alerts on your bank accounts or credit cards. These can warn you when you're approaching your budget limit in different categories. It's like having a little financial conscience sitting on your shoulder. Another strategy is to set a weekly cash withdrawal limit. This can help curb impulse spending and make you think twice about each purchase.
Those are some clever ideas. Now, we've talked a lot about checking bank accounts, but what about credit cards? Should we be applying the same principles there?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's even more important to keep a close eye on your credit card spending. Credit cards can make it easy to overspend without realizing it, so you need to be extra vigilant. When reviewing your credit card statements, first and foremost, you want to categorize your spending. Separate your needs from your wants. This can be eye-opening and help you identify areas where you might be able to cut back.
That's a great point. I actually had an experience recently where a restaurant charged me twice for the same meal. If I hadn't been checking my statement, I might have missed it entirely.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of why this habit is so important. And while you're reviewing your credit card statement, pay special attention to your subscriptions. These can be sneaky budget busters. It seems like every streaming service is raising its prices these days. But here's an interesting strategy we heard about. We have a friend who rotates her subscriptions, only paying for one at a time.
Now that's a clever hack. It's a great way to enjoy all the content without paying for multiple subscriptions year round. Speaking of clever strategies, how does this habit of regular financial check-ins help with managing debt?
That's an excellent question. Regular monitoring of your accounts can actually be a powerful tool in tackling debt. When you're reviewing your credit card statements, for example, You should be asking yourself if you can afford to pay more than the minimum each month. Paying just twice the minimum can significantly lower your overall interest costs over the long term.
That's fascinating. I had no idea that paying more than the minimum could make such a difference. Are there any other strategies for tackling debt that you'd recommend?
Absolutely. One important strategy is to maintain a running total of your incomings and outgoings so that you know your money flow on a daily basis. Know when your salary or wages come into your account and know when your bills are due. Most bills arrive on the same date each month, so it's easy to anticipate cash needs. Try to plan 30 days ahead and, if necessary, adjust your spending to ensure you can cover everything on time.
That makes a lot of sense. It's all about being proactive rather than reactive with your finances. Now, we've covered a lot of ground here. Can you sum up the key takeaways for our listeners?
Sure thing. The main thing to remember is that achieving financial fitness is about building daily habits and awareness. Start by checking your bank balance every day and build up to a comprehensive monthly review of all your accounts. Apply these principles to credit cards as well, keeping a close eye on your spending, categorizing your purchases, and always being on the lookout for unnecessary expenses or errors.
Those are all excellent points. And is there one final piece of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Yes, and it's an important one. Remember, the goal here isn't just to save money or pay off debt quickly. It's about building a solid foundation for your financial future. It takes commitment and daily focus, but the payoff is worth it. Financial fitness isn't just about your bank balance. It's about feeling secure, prepared, and in control of your financial life.
That's beautifully put. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about and some concrete steps they can take to improve their financial fitness.
And that's all for today's episode. We hope you found this discussion valuable and that you're feeling inspired to take control of your financial fitness. Until next time, keep those bank statements close and your financial goals closer.